we have a new plugin that I want to use on guitars. There's a new plugin that Acustica Audio has made. It's called Teal. All right, so we got over sampling. I'm gonna go 2 times. You know, I think my buffer now is 2048, something like that. So let's try this. I'm gonna press play from, let's do here. So bypass in white is bypassing. So let's drive it up. I have no idea how this is gonna work. Remember, this is just on the mix bus, so it's a lot. Let's try that. Okay, I'm liking this. There's one thing I like. Hold on. So what is it doing that I like? It's left right content for harmonic content on the sides is getting more interesting. And so I kind of hear the guitars being some sort of like it's a wider mix without being wider. So it's more interesting. This one's nice. I have carbing the 82 high pass, and I don't know why or whatever. It's just low shelving minus 2.5 because we're gaining a lot of lows from the distressors that are already set to overkill, but it's such a good sound, and that's okay. It's the more drums, right, thing. But this one's rebalancing really right and nice. I kind of didn't like the pre modes. Then I'm shelving 0.5, but I'm cutting at 1800. 18,000. That's solid. Okay, so now let me try, and the auto compensation is a must for sure, because then you can go output compensation. So this is good. Let me try the other modes. Let's keep. Okay, so violet is destroying our kick sound and just bringing the high mids up, but 50% would be a lot. If you overcompensate with the input drive, if you stay low on the input drive, it kind of gave me a little bit too much honk, but the kick wasn't there, so I kind of always liked it maybe without. I still believe that like for this, eminence could be good if we go like 10%. Let's try this. This one is nice as well, so Smarty. Yes. But what did I just learn? That if you change the mode, especially if you go post, but I kind of like Git post. I don't know, like my brain is thinking that the mode is the last thing and then we mix it into the mode for whatever reason. When we started and I heard like, wow, I mean, there's a lot of lows. It was the mode that was giving me that. With Eminence or Violet line, so 5, 6, and 7 had just a very weak low registry. So the -2 point something on the shelf and the high pass were really working without needing to, you know, there was no need to cut that high because the model was not pushing that high, the lows, that much of the low frequency content. But the first modes I had were doing that, so that's why my shelf and HPF were set that way. Now we go Eminence, you have to rebuild it. And I think I went like 10% dry wet, which is, we're getting close to real world kind of scenarios. A lot of hard saturation, but just a little bit in there. I no longer perceive it as tube saturation. I perceive it as some sort of like openness and a little bit of high mid edge. Does that suggest that Teal would work well as a retardant rather than an insert that you can send multiple tracks to? I've done records where the culture vulture is on send retardant, for example. We could try that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna send my drums to it, okay? All of them, but I'm gonna go pre-fader. I'm gonna mute the drums and I wanna hear hopefully how these sounds. Let me probably, the best thing I have to do is here mute the other tracks. Hear how the kind of like the distortions working on my drums. So now we're hearing just the distortion, okay? This is gonna be just to dial in something that I believe will work. Let me reset everything. Again, you gotta know the plot. Some people will go for something extreme. I will honestly not do it. Let me try soft sat, and I'll tell you when it's kind of looking nice. Okay, so this is crunching. Let me try and get the lows. Out. Let's try this. You hear how weird that is? I'm trying to find the sweet spot of the kick to be a little bit musical but without the low content. Okay, so let's try this. Let's try this kind of sound, or maybe the shelf. Let's see if the high is giving me something with the LP remodeling. You know, I would keep it here. And this one's kind of like, I don't know, a leveler action. So let's try without and with. It could work. There's danger here on the path because it could easily get us to have like phase issues with the drums, kick, or whatever. But let's try that. Okay, so now it's working, but it's phasing everything. And this would actually be the issue of a non-delay compensated session as well, or I'm thinking this is latency compensated. There's probably no bug in the plugin or in anything. It's just that what we are introducing into the core of the sound is just not giving us anything interesting. Okay, so it's a matter of just changing how things are, and guitars are perfect for this kind of stuff. So I tuned it on the drums. It didn't really work. So let me tune it on the guitars and see where we are here. You hear it? Let's try and flip phase, because hold on, let me use MSCD. Let's flip phase here. Let's see if it works just by changing it. I'm thinking it won't, but it's not working. Okay, so it's not about flipping phase. It's not right. So let me try and find something different. Maybe overcook. It maybe. Now I've changed the mode. Caviar 27 channel 1. This is more like it. Let me try without and with. Okay, so this one's coherent. What I'm lacking is I would like to scoop this dude here in the mids. So that's like hold on, I got it. So let's try that. This one here, variation I don't need. Let's try, we have numerical values, whatever. Let's try this. My thinking is I like how it sounds now, or I don't completely dislike how it sounds. I just feel like it could be better. Okay, it's hard to explain why I thought after. I keep thinking like, okay, that's my device, that's my saturation device. A lot of them do this. There's no way of doing this. We could try before. This certainly works. I kind of like it. Hear how ballsy the sound is now that we've taken out that 2K. So I'll go. Gonna do without and with. So yeah, it's still scooped, right? But it's a lot better. So how about it before? Let's try that before Teal. Okay, now it's too much if you do it before. So let me try and copy this to B. Just move the knob back to 0. The frequency is right. We just have to go a little bit less probably. Okay, be here or A after. I like it better B before the saturator. It's more natural, more organic. So now this one's gonna stay for the whole of the kits. But this could be your guitar saturator, and then you use another Teal somewhere else. But I'm thinking it might work. Let me hear the bass. Right, it's not really, clinching. That's okay. Let's do bass and guitars. Let's go without. Teal, and then I'll bring it on. All right, so bass, I don't really think we kind of need it. I'm curious to hear the root. the overheads. Okay, so the rooms are and the overheads are absolutely horrible. So we have a guitar saturator. It's not really drums or bass oriented. It just doesn't want to work there. I would not use it. But for guitars, yes. So let's try a mix, same mix without Teal and with. Can you believe the guitars were there before? Right? Right? I mean, come on. Have I touched something that... No, right? So good. So without Teal, we got the Datamix before, scooping, drive at the normal, variation, channel select. We just kept it at the sharp hashtag. That's the real numerical values. To me, it works. And, MSCD, what is it doing? Nothing. So MSCD, we can take it out. So without, I mean, it works, right? It really works. Again, as usual, do you have to use this? No. Is this the only one that does it? No. But is it working? For sure. However, without that scooping before, an all-in-one solution, to me, it always brought something that I didn't like. But with that, huge 2 kilohertz scoop, because this thing doesn't go light. I mean, huge. It's a minus 3.3, but if you look it on Plugin Doctor or something, it's just completely. I've used it for 30 minutes, but definitely what I've learned from it is the mode is what sets things first. So I would probably find my default settings and I would choose the mode that works. I keep believing that post is what I want to use it, but if it's pre, it's even faster. If you vibe better with pre, it's faster because you set the behavior and then you go from there. But I kind of like to prepare things going into the mode. And I'm going to say this, a device, a technique like this, if you use Teal or something else, is just going to give you that wall of guitar short of all of the resonances that you kind of carve out. It's very common for these genres to have some very clean digital EQ to take out all of the resonances. I've done this production with some bands that record guitars in very small booths. They use 57s and E606s or E609s by Sennheiser, which are fun, they're good microphones. But what you end up doing is you gotta work your way into carving the resonances if you really want to get that wall of sound from the guitars. This one will let your soundstage be filled. You have no keyboards, you have nothing else. There's just 2 guitars, and it will let your bass go through it and your drums kind of be angry and fit. When you do that much carving, you kind of don't feel the guitars any longer. You can kind of hear them, but you don't feel them that much. Something like a saturator will blend in the things you've taken out and will kind of recreate a